All right, so we're going to move on to round 2. This time, Team 90s, you will begin.
All right. I'm going to start listing off some people on this soundtrack. I think that's a good way to start. Coolio, great artist. Seal, great. Barry White, great. Salt and Pepper, outstanding. Biz Markie, fantastic. R. Kelly, not great, but good song, but not great anymore. And Bugs Bunny. Ladies and gentlemen, 1996, we had the Space Jam soundtrack come out.
I swear to God, Evan.
For context, the biggest disagreement in the history of my friendship with Mallory is if Space Jam, the original, not LeBron James's atrocity, is a good movie. The answer is yes, and part of the reason the answer is yes is because of the soundtrack. You're going to tell me you don't hear Fly Like an Eagle and proceed to just get lifted a little bit, like you feel bigger, you feel taller, you feel stronger. We're going to just put I Believe I Can Fly over in a corner because it's a good song sung by a bad guy, so we're just going to put it over there. Monica sings For You I Will. Chris Rock shows up. This is a party. All right, if the first one was serious, The Bodyguard's a very serious movie. It's got some serious, some power ballads. This one is just about the fun. This one brings the fun. Plus, everybody get up. It's time to jam now. Welcome to the Space Jam.
Oh.
For anyone listening,
right.
you can't see Mallory's completely disgusted face.
You almost had me for a minute.
Did you think it was something else?
Well, you're like Coolio. I'm like, yeah. You're like Biz Markie. I'm like, yeah. Seal. Yeah. And then all of a sudden I realized what it was.
All right, thank you, Evan. Team 2000s.
Well, if Evan's coming out swinging with a kids' family classic, I'm going to come back swinging with another kids' family classic. This is one that inspires a lot of different emotions. This soundtrack can make you elated. This soundtrack can make you heartbroken. This soundtrack can make you big on TikTok, because it has been big on TikTok. I am talking about Up. The soundtrack from Up. Now, you would be hard-pressed to find someone who would not agree that the first 10 minutes of that movie are absolutely gut-wrenching. And I would like to point out, is there any dialogue in the first 10 minutes of that movie? No. But what is there? Music. That first 10 minutes of that movie hinges on the soundtrack to take you on that absolute emotional roller coaster that destroyed you and your mom when you both watched Up. As far as the rest of the movie, it somehow uses the music to dig you back out of that pit of despair that you fell into. It manages to uplift you, just like the balloons lifted up that house and carried it miles and miles and miles away to land on a waterfall. That's exactly what this soundtrack does. Michael, I don't know how you pronounce it. Giacchino? Cappuccino? Don't know. He works absolute wonders with this. The choice of instruments, the choice of tempo, the back and forth, it's incredible. And I think as a kids and family music choice, stands stronger than Space Jam.
All right. Free
Shalene,
period.
in your face, man. You're killing me here. I gotta dig up again.
Sorry. It was your last sentence. I love the confidence. Love it. So yeah, free period. I just want to mention a quick fun fact. The first episode I listened of Pop Capsule Podcast, you guys were talking about Space Jam. And then Mallory made the comment, either you didn't like it or you haven't seen it. I can't remember which one it was.
Do not like it.
Okay. And then I quickly paused the episode, searched them on Instagram, added them, DM'd them. What? What do you mean you don't like Space Jam? So that was my introduction to you guys and following you guys.
Can I just say, I'm like beginning to get the feeling that Evan's research for this was not his favorite or what he thinks are the strongest 90 movies. I think he just went back to Shalina's podcast and listened to all of her favorites that she mentioned.
I'm sorry, you
Because
didn't do
I feel
cross-examination?
Yeah. I feel like he's getting something here. And I'd like to go back to my comment I said before, that you almost had me for a minute.
Yeah.
Because the pieces of the soundtrack on their own are good.
Okay.
All together with the movie, not as good. I'm going to compare it to our trifle from Friends. Meat,
Okay.
good. Jam, good. Custard, good. Trifle, questionable. I love all of the pieces,
Okay.
but when you put everything together with the movie, with the context of the movie, I think mine's coming out stronger.
All right.
Okay.
Well, his name is Michael Giacchino. I'm going to just throw that out there because you couldn't pronounce the name of the composer you picked second. So I'll put that out there. You can't check my Google history also. That's protected by, I didn't just Google that. You can't check that. Question, Mallory, do you have a podcast with me. Do you like talking? That's a serious question. You like talking?
Mostly out of my ass, but yes, I do.
You like words?
Yeah.
Why do none of your soundtracks have words?
A soundtrack often needs to be specific to that movie. And while I will feature others that do feature words, a lot of times a carefully crafted instrumental soundtrack designed specifically for that movie paints a stronger picture than a song that's been used in multiple movies.
Okay.
A lot of popular songs with words you hear not just in one movie. It's not just associated with one thing and doesn't just spring that one movie or that one scene.
Okay.